Hey guys, today I'm here with Frodo, and we're going to be playing a little bit of PayDay. Now this is going to be an unusual review because one of us loves the game and the other one hates it. Me.
No idea why.
It's shit. So this is going to be more of a balanced review. I'm going to say the reasons why I dislike it. Frodo will hopefully sing its praises. So just before we begin, I'd like to point out, Frodo, how many hours have you played this?
I've had the game for about 2 weeks, and I have 77 hours total. 135, I do apologise. 77 in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, 135 hours, so it's clear that he likes the game. I have, one sec, I'll just check. Just going to find my profile. So just going into my profile here now, and just going to wait for it to load. So I have played PayDay 10 hours, which... oh no, wait, I've played 48 hours in the past... oh no, reading my page completely wrong there. It's 10.4 hours I played the game, mostly with Frodo and a few other regulars. So that'll give you an indication of what I think of the game. Thanks for getting me to pay full price, you bastards.
You're most welcome.
So, yeah, we're going to take a look there now at the game itself. So, first off, do you want to maybe run us through the inventory system, Frodo?
Yeah, and just quickly leave safe house. Basically, the inventory system, it's actually quite good, because on Payday 1, it took a long time to level up and stuff like that, and you couldn't really, in fact, you couldn't spend your money at all that you got from heists, okay? You know, it's great in this game because obviously you unlock parts for your weapons and you buy your own weapons that you unlock at certain levels, which is cool because it gives you choice, it gives you variety. Now it's not just restricted to crappy weapons like in Payday 1. Like the locomotives in Payday 1, you had 4 shells and it was slow reload and stuff like that. Yes, you get P90s, you get magnums, you get different types of pistols, submachine guns, shotguns, single shot rifles, and
we're proudly sponsored by the NRA.
And you know, you've got variety. I mean, you can completely customize your weapon, everything from the barrels to you can put flashlight, lasers. You have 5 different sights you can put on.
So a gun nut's wet dream, basically.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you've even got weapon parts that you don't even help you. It just makes your weapon look better. That's what's good. You don't just get ugly parts and make it you know, lower your recoil or improve your damage or whatever. You can actually have parts, like for example, what's it called now? On the AMR 16 rifle, buy that, you can get something called Exotique. It's an upper receiver for the assault rifle. It's where your bullets, basically, shells come out.
So the clip?
No, the top of the rifle.
Oh, the barrel itself.
Yeah, do you know when you fire a weapon and you've got the little slide that flops back and forth that lets the expended shells out?
Uh-huh.
Yeah? Well, you can get some of that, they changed that, it's called the Exotique. It does nothing for your weapon. Well, it does, it lowers the recoil like a tidgy bit, but it's just exotic, that's all it is. It makes it look better. That's the only function for it, really. So, again, you got that amount of variety in your customization.
Could I argue the point, though? For me, the inventory... the guns being black and white, or it kind of looks like a blueprint picture of a gun. For me, I don't know, it sort of takes away from the gun itself. I don't know, I hate inventories that are like lacking color. I like to see what sort of guns I'm carrying.
Yeah, and a lot of people do, but you can preview the weapon. You can preview the weapon as you've got it currently modified. You can preview a weapon without or with certain mods. And it gives you the full image, and you can zoom in and out and see what it looks like up close.
Fair enough, but I know it's like I'm just going to double click there on the AK. So, and it's just I'm looking through the options, but it doesn't actually give me a picture of what the gun actually looks like. You know what I mean?
Well, that's simple. You just click preview weapon. There you go. That's what the gun looks like. Sure, you can't preview it when you go into a lobby, but...
Ah, there we are. Well, now, in fairness, I didn't know you could do that. So, I will admit I was being a little stupid there.
So not many people do realise something like that because they don't read the screen. They just say, "Oh, weapon," and they go for it. But if you want to get it full grips of your inventory, you preview your weapon. You can save if you have a mod for your weapon, say like silencer for example, you can preview the weapon with or without that mod.
Okay. Now, if you want to run us through as well, at the end of the missions, you sort of unlock stuff. And for me, I think the unlock system is very unfair because I've done so many missions with you guys. I've yet to find a single mask, except for the peaceful mask last night.
Well, the thing about that is, it's completely random. It depends on your luck. Yes, you can get skills in the ghost, it's where you can get the lucky charm, obviously, to unlock rarer stuff. I mean, personally, I found 4 infamous items, and quite a few masks.
But what difference are the infamous items over the regular?
Well, there's 3 types of items. You've got infamous, DLC, and your standard. DLC isn't out yet because only the Xbox has the DLC at the moment. It's called the loot bag DLC. Now that'll give you a mask and there's different patterns and stuff.
But is it possible for PC players to play with Xbox players?
No.
No.
Separate servers because it would be unfair because
that's what I was going to suggest.
In PC you've got freedom of the mouse, so you've got complete aim over your weapon. In console you have auto aim assist, which what we would call an aimbot in PC.
That's why PCs are better.
Yeah.
So that's the primary weapons. Secondaries are your handguns and what have you. Armor now. For the missions, this is one of the issues I had with the game. When you're doing the mission, and at the start, before you put on your mask, no guards are alerted. But for me, I just find it very unrealistic that if 4 guys walk into a bank wearing heavy body armor, that it wouldn't alert like a little bit of suspicion,
It does, though. I mean, sure, the civilians. I will admit that in this game the civilians aren't exactly bright, but the guards, you get too close to the guards, obviously they'll get suspicious of it and then they'll look at you and they'll be like, well,
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm a security guard in a bank and I see a guy walking in the door in heavy body armor, like, if I'm in America, I'm running out the back door. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't take a genius to wait till he's right next to him to figure out that, something's up here.
Well, I guess the way you could look at it is, it could be anything. It could be undercover police officer. Well, not undercover, obviously wearing that much body armor, but it.
Yeah, that would be a little undercover, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it could be law enforcement. It could be somebody collecting a payment. I don't even know what they're called. Just the guys that drive around in the vans. They pick up money, take it to a different place. Couriers, basically.
I don't know, for believability, that's one of my main issues with the game. Like I was telling you last night, just the whole believability of the situation, I don't know. Anyway, so let's move on to equipment. Now, the equipment is unlocked through the leveling system, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously you've got each class has got their own thing, where, technician has 2. Technicians have C4, they start off as trip mines, and as you level up higher into the skill tree you get more, the explosion radius gets more, and you can, at tier 5 you can get 6 that you can turn into C4 to open doors and stuff.
That was one thing I noticed last night though, that it doesn't do any damage to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have an issue with that as well. Yes, it doesn't do damage if you blow up a door with them, but if you put them down as trip mines and they blow up next to you, it does hurt you. Granted, it's a bit unrealistic because obviously it'll take all 6 to knock you down if you're wearing your full tactical armor. But they can't just have you going down every time you blow up a door now. It kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, they should surely have a cover system or something in place, which, might I point out, they don't have in this game. There's no cover system aside from crouching.
Well, the thing is, the guys. If you read the background of the guys you play, I mean, you've got Wolf. He was let me just bring his profile up.
What does his history have to do with cover systems though, unless he's a geriatric with 2 broken kneecaps?
Well, no, the thing is, Wolf was a law-abiding citizen for most of his life. During the worldwide economic slump of the late 2000s, Wolf company temporarily had one client that got cold feet and went wanted out. His company went bankrupt. Then he turned to being a criminal, right? Now, somebody who runs a business wouldn't understand the whole concept of tactics like that. They wouldn't just know to get into cover when they need to and stuff like that. Whereas there's only one military character in the whole thing. And
still though, I think that's a pretty weak excuse. I know myself, if somebody was shooting at me, I'd be ducking covering a little bit. Unless I freeze and end up getting shot. Like, if I'm going to rob banks, I might start to think about maybe ducking behind stuff when people are shooting at me.
We have to admit, though, at the end of the day, this isn't a role-playing game, so...
Yeah, but there's still, there should have a level of believability. It's not like we're playing Grand Theft Auto.
And I agree with that, but, you know, they've got a... The game's already 19 gig. I mean, if it just when they start, they're putting more and more stuff into the game, and yeah, maybe one day we'll have that cover system. But right now they're focusing on the big things like the safe house customization and trading system.
But that's another point. What use is the safe house? I'm going to load into my safe house here. One sec. That's in the CrimeNet offline, isn't it? Oh no, safe house.
Yeah, it's on the main menu. Well, the safe house was the place that you go to practice. You've got safes you can drill into or picklock or blow up with your C4, different types of doors. It tells you which ones can be shot open, which ones have to be picklocked, which ones have to need saws or ECM jammers. Obviously,
so it's basically a glorified training house.
Yeah, I mean you've got a shooting range and everything. All your masks are hanged up, all your weapons are hanged up. I mean you've got a Statue of Liberty in your bloody front room. I mean, how cool is that?
But I'll give you an example of poor like game planning. It goes into a mission planner before you go into your safe house. Why? It's unnecessary.
I guess you can't change weapons in the middle of the game, can you? So they've got to give you the chance to change your weapon before you go in.
Yeah, but I mean, for a safe house that you go to from the main menu, that isn't a mission, why do you need a mission preloading? You know what I mean? It strikes me as very bloated, kind of.
Well, what you have to do, each time you join a mission, you've got to load that mission up. Now, that loading screen, well, that menu screen that you go in from the main lobby, it's you load into it yourself as everybody else does. And what that's doing is that joining that you see is the mission loading up the safe house, the textures and everything. It's just a different type of loading screen.
I'm actually having some frame rate issues here. Might be on account of fraps. So bear with me a sec there. I might have to restart the game, so just bear with me one moment.
Fraps isn't the best recording tool, but it's obviously the cheapest and sort of, I guess.
Okay, I fixed the frame rate issue, I think. So, we're back in game now. I'm back recording.
Cool.
So, okay, I'm in the vault at the moment where your offshore money goes. Now, this is another thing that just the game logic. If it's an offshore account, why is it on your kitchen table or on your safe table?
Ah, well, it's not. You see, the stuff that's on your safe table is your spending cash.
Yeah, but at the moment I have about 80,000 spending cash. What's on the table looks a hell of a lot more.
Well, that's what they've. I think what they've done is they've put it in stacks of 1,100 bills because each stack is 1,000.
Okay, assuming that's 1,000, okay, which it doesn't look like. It looks like more like 2 grand. That would easily be about 3, maybe 400,000 there, and I only have as far as I know, about 800,000 or 80,000, give or take.
Well, yeah. Granted, I am actually with you on this one. I can't really praise this. But I do like how they put it in that you can see your money. It's like my safe house. I've got a full table and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 big piles of it at the back.
Okay, now moving on to the rest of the safe house though. So in this room over here, you can sort of like make your masks and stuff. Which because I have no masks, I can't even make one. And you have like your gun rack and what have you.
You can't actually make your mask in the safe house, which I'm not a big fan of, but, you know... Well, actually, thinking about it, I'm not sure, because all my masks are customised. I've never actually tried without an uncustomised mask, so I guess maybe you can.
So, I'm looking at the shooting range at the moment. I'm actually going to load up a gun and shoot something. Give me a sec. Like, this is another aspect. You're in your safe house. I just pressed G to pick up ammo, and I'm told that no suspicious activity is allowed till you put on your mask. I mean, I'm in my safe house. What difference does it make? Seriously, like, that's just a bad game logic and design there.
Well...
Come on, you've got to admit that's pretty stupid. Come on.
Okay, yeah, it is a little, but the thing is...
A little? Come on, Frodo, that's...
Well, no, it's justified because, you know, they can't just make an entirely different like game style just to be in your safe house.
Why not? It's not that difficult. They just put on the mode that G has already been activated in the scripts. It's pretty straightforward, actually.
They've done that in some of the missions, but the thing is, they can't just like allow you to do suspicious stuff in your safe house, because then they'd have to let you do that outside as well, because it's all part of the game. It's the same engine. The whole engine is based on it.
Yeah, but it's not engine though, it's scripting. That's pretty much the thing, like, you script it so you can pick up ammo, rather than thing. It's got nothing to do with the actual engine itself.
But why would they waste time just to re-script something for a little thing that's barely
Because
used?
they're charging, what, £30 a game? You think they could add 1 or 2 extra lines of script?
Don't forget though, the safe house isn't finished yet.
No shit.
Soon they're going to be introducing a system where you can use your offshore account money to customize your safe house.
But like, why did they release the game if half these features haven't even been added to the game yet? Come on, you've got to admit that the game was released a little on the early side.
No, yes it was, but they had good intentions in mind, right? The game came out earlier than expected because it was supposed to come out a week or two after the Xbox came out, but it came out a day before the Xbox. Which is a little strange, but I don't know why they did that. But the beta players, because the game, if you had PayDay 1, right? If you owned PayDay 1, everybody who owned PayDay 1 got the PayDay 2 beta. Now everybody that played the beta, including me and Dan, we all said, well basically, this is great, you know, what you've done with this so far. I think you should release it, because people are really, really waiting to play for this game. And now when they released it, they did bring out a statement and said, yes, certain aspects aren't there, because when we bring this out, we want you, because you've paid this money for the game, we want you to have the absolute every penny's worth. That was their exact words. We want you to have every penny's worth.
I don't know, like, for me, from what I've seen of the game, I think it's very unpolished. It just even this, like, I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to leave the safe house, and we're going to take a look at the actual game itself. So bear with me one second.
Yes, I agree though, the game is unpolished, but it's a work in progress.
Before we go into the game itself, can we take a look at the skills as well? Maybe you can run us through some of the skills, because for me, once again, the inventory system, similar to Far Cry 3's, just the UI layout of it does my head in.
Yeah, I did think it was a lot like Far Cry 3 as well. I mean, you know, obviously, not without the tattoos, but, you know.
I don't know, like, whatever happened to the good old days of actual items to signify the upgrades or something? I don't know, for me, I just think it looks very tacky.
It is a little tacky and it is a little unrefined, and I guess they're trying to make something unique. I mean, because they don't want to blend in with the rest of the games, do they really? If you think of it in your own shoes, if you were making a game, would you want it to be like every other game?
Like, I don't even get the whole buy ace thing. Like, does that mean you can upgrade an existing skill that you already have?
Yeah, you got your basic skill, like, I'm on my technician tree, so you got technician, which unlocks your...
Oh, okay, I get it. I don't know, for me it just looks very overcomplicated though.
Well, I thought that too at first, but once you've upgraded a few skills, you start to look at the different ones, of which ones you want. Because when you get higher up to tier 4 and 5 and 6, it costs a lot to ace it and stuff. Because, say for example, I've got one here called Bulletproof, right? It's on Technician, it's on the right hand side at the top. The last skills line you can train.
Yeah, I see it there.
Improves your armor so you can absorb more damage. The armor recovery rate of you and your crew is increased. Now, it's going to cost me 8 points, 904,500 to ace it. What it does, it teaches you to be conservative with your skill points and your money, so you know what you want, and you sort of work around it. I mean, you don't have to stick to one tree. I mean, I've got 3 skills aced in Mastermind with 3 normal, sorry.
You wouldn't be able to run us through, actually, the different classes. So you have Mastermind, what's that?
Mastermind is basically your combat medic and your heist planner. You get certain buffs and bonuses. You get... what you can do, you can intimidate people, for example. The less trained the guard, you can shout at them saying, "Get down, motherfucker," blah blah blah. You don't want to bleep that out.
It's me, Frodo. I'm not bleeping anything out. We have Paul being racist most of the videos.
That's a very good point. Well, yeah, they'll start screaming at the coppers. They'll be like, "Down, get down, get down." Now you can do that anyway, but the Mastermind, once they've aced that skill, it increases everything so they can get coppers to cuff themselves, and then they can convert that police officer to fight for you.
This is another issue I have, okay? It's cops and robbers game. I realize it's a game, okay? Not realistic. Well, it's not meant to be too realistic. But logically, why would a copper who's in the middle of an armed assault decide to, I don't mind, I'm going to join the robbers?
Well,
just logically, like, thinking about it.
They don't just turn around and go, oh yeah, I'm your friend now. They go,
Well,
oh,
they do
you're
pretty
friend,
much.
no,
Like, they kneel on the ground and then all of a sudden they're blue and they're shooting the cops with you.
They're nasty to you though. They're still nasty to you. They'll be like, oh, you're burning hell for this, and goes, ask you why you're doing it and stuff. For all we know, the guy could be threatening his family or anything.
Yeah, but I don't know, for me it just makes very little sense. Logically. And actually, I'm going to point out another one to you. There's one on Mastermind on the left-hand side, third from the top, called Stockholm Syndrome. Now, I know Stockholm Syndrome, people who are kidnapped, they start to love their captors, what have you.
Yeah.
But logically, Stockholm Syndrome tends to take time to actually kick in, not the middle of a bank robbery.
Wrong. You're actually wrong, actually. No. You are wrong, right? There have been many cases, actually most cases of Stockholm Syndrome can be born within a matter of an hour. Because
how long does the average mission last in this game?
About 20 minutes, but basically in game it's sped up a little bit because they can't obviously have you. Well, a real heist would take all day.
Well, not really. If you want to not get arrested, it should probably take less than a minute or two.
Well, the thing is, once the police get there, you got to negotiate. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to take steps, to get out and stuff. Like the whole.
Actually, that's something I'm going to come to in a minute.
But Stockholm Syndrome that can be formed by pure intimidation because a natural instinct in a human being is dominance. They love the dominant person. So that's the whole S&M thing, in
he's a bit of a fan, folks.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on from S&M over to Enforcer, Jesus. Yeah, I had to move to that one, didn't I? So, Enforcer, in the non-dominating S&M way. What's the class?
He's the tank. He's the scary guy, He carries all the ammunition. He's the buff, He's played by Change, the military guy. He originally in PayDay 1 he was the Enforcer. Now what they did, it's very handy. They get 2 ammo bags. They get a saw. They get better armor, so they can take more damage. For example, the skills where you kill somebody with a shotgun, you get a damage buff for a certain amount of time, like a few seconds. Mm-hmm. When you put an ammo down, you can fire your weapon for a few seconds with limited ammo. The most attractive, I think, for the Enforcer skills is the sheer power that you can get, because you can hit a shield, and by the sheer force of your hit, the shields are stumbled back and you can shoot them.
Now the shield is basically a cop with a big huge riot shield that you can't shoot through, which means you have to get around them, which is surprisingly easy.
It depends how fast you are. I mean, you've got things like your suit on so you can run fast, and it is, but if you've got your full body armor on, you move slow, so you can't do it. Somebody has to attract their fire whilst the other person goes around the other side and shoots them.
So we're going to move on to another one, Technician. So that's kind of like the engineer class, isn't it?
Yeah, my personal favourite. I have most of the skills aced in this one. Obviously, you get C4, trip mines, where you can change from the trip mine. Oh, excuse me, I get hiccups. To motion sensors and everything. You can change the laser to a blue laser, which will set off an alarm every time a cop runs through it, so you know where they're coming from, etc. They get sentry guns. They get stuff like that. You can once you've aced all your sentry guns, you get more ammo. They're more accurate. They get shields on them. You can place 2 of them. Now, a good one for Technician, I think, is shockproof. Now, when you buy the basic, obviously taser shocks attacks on you have a small chance of backfiring. It's a tier 5 skill on the right hand side.
Yeah, I think I've got it there.
You can interact with a taser that's tasing you, which will backfire the taser to tase himself, so they're all stunned and they can't do anything.
Okay, so moving on to Ghost. That's kind of like the... If you don't want to have Ghost called, pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the ninja, basically. The lucky guy, they can jump through windows, they can drop down from higher heights without getting hurt, they can bag bodies, they can picklock safes silently.
But tell me, is it possible, what's the level cap? It's 100, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, is it possible for somebody to, level up a decent amount in every single class?
Yeah, it takes all 100 levels and all the skill points you get to completely ace one skill tree. But most people, like me, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Mastermind, 3 of which are aced. I have 2 in Enforcer, 1 of which is aced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in 12 in Technician, 11 which are aced. None in Ghost because I've only got 1 skill point spare, and that's only at level 76.
Okay. I actually made a mistake a while ago. I do have more than 80,000, but it looks that I have 577. I forgot about the missions we did last night. But still, the money on the table looks a lot more than that.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. It does look a little bit unrealistic, but who cares? It looks like you've got a lot of money. It makes you feel good about yourself.
So I'm going to pause the video here and restart it, so Fraps doesn't go freaking out when I have an extra large download. So give me 1 sec.